I found love for me. Darling, just write my hand. Follow my lead. I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. I cannot lose what someone waiting for me. I forgot the fucking lyrics, so I cannot sing it. Every time I screaming is far. Darling, don't kiss me slow. I do not know what I'm singing actually. But hello everyone. So today we're gonna reaction more SCP, but this not Marvin. Today we're gonna reaction to Detective Void. It's been a long time I do not watch this. And today SCP is not free. I do not know why. So today we're gonna reaction to SCP-2632, and this a new one. I think it's like not 3 hours ago. I think 2 days ago, like that. I forgot. So yep. Today we're gonna reaction animation as SCP animation. So before we're gonna reaction, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification like I do. And and Detective Void almost to get 400k, so make sure to support his channel and my channel too. Do not forget to like and subscribe, okay, to my channel. Do not forget about that, okay? So yep, let's go to the reaction. Okay, warning has been done. Nice, he made a new intro. I think so. Detective Void.
For every executioner, there is that first time. Up until he turned 24, Jeremy worked in the police department. But following some changes made at the office, he had been transferred and appointed as an executioner. On that fateful day way back in 2003, Jeremy was to send his first condemned criminal to the afterlife. Upon being told who he'd be executing, Jeremy began to experience conflicting thoughts. On one hand, the young executioner believed that this execution was well-deserved, since it was the killer who murdered a tourist in Mount Rainier National Park nearly 10 years ago. Yet, on the other hand, the murderer was now a 68-year-old man,
that's
about the same age as Jeremy's grandfather. He obviously had no desire whatsoever to personally kill someone the same age as his beloved grandfather, especially in such a cruel manner as hanging. This first time proved to be a difficult test, but Jeremy was still determined to succeed on this difficult path. When the time of execution arrived, he pushed past his mental objections. The executioner prepared the rope and was ready to throw it around the criminal's neck, but when the killer was brought into the execution room, Jeremy's legs began to weaken. Upon seeing the old man's face, the executioner could hardly believe that the former was capable of harming anyone. A more senior member there spotted his reaction.
I mean, that's pretty, how to say, not exciting, of course. It's pretty like, you're nervous and everything because that is your first time to do like that, and you saw someone get tortured, like, the hanging, because the hanging, killing somebody with hanging is like torture, because before he die, he need to suffering for 45 seconds like that without air. You just imagine. And the one of the policy in America that the officer catch the robbery, the black guy, I not racing, okay. So yeah, the man who robbing the, I don't know, robbery or something, I forgot. He said to the police that, police, please, I cannot breathe. And police see the white guy, okay, the police like, I do not care. He just torture him for 5 minutes without air. He cannot breathe in. If I am the police, I catching somebody, and that guy say, it's okay. I say catching is not care. I do not care about what color he is. He say like, or he or she say like, please give me a breathing. I was thinking, oh, maybe I do something wrong, and I try to, maybe I will like use the clay hanger to clip his hand after that, and let him breathe in like that. I not like I would be serious, but I would not killing somebody with torture.
And urged Jeremy to steel his nerves and not lose his focus on account of some criminal. To avoid having to see the old man's face, Jeremy
to
hastily
serious,
threw a
but
black bag over
you
the
need to
killer's
give
head, something typically done to criminals prior to being hanged. The young
give him some blessing, not blessing. I mean, some not. I think the word is not torture, I guess.
executioner then hurriedly put the noose around the old man's neck. The only thing left to do now was to press the button, which would split the two parts of the platform's surface, opening up a small space under the feet of the condemned man. The criminal's body swayed side to side like a pendulum, yet the usual crunching sound of the neck bone snapping was not heard. Ethan was the one who brought it up, as Jeremy had no idea what hanging sounded like. According to his more senior colleague, the corpse swayed on the gallows in a strange way, and his feet did not hang down like those of a dead person. They looked more as if someone was sitting up with their legs tensely hanging over the edge of a cliff. When Jeremy pulled the bag off the old man's head, he saw his eyes blinking quite normally. The rope squeezed so tightly around the man's neck that any other person would have certainly died already. But the noose only prevented him from speaking and somewhat aggravated his ability to breathe. Ethan and Jeremy watched as the old man shook and convulsed for a few more minutes, but he clearly had no plan of actually dying. Of course, no instructions on what to do existed for such cases. The unsuccessful execution had to be reported up to management. The decision to re-execute would be one made in court. For now, Jeremy considered this as a sign from above, and on the following day, he turned in his formal resignation. As for the surviving old man, Foundation agents embedded in the Washington State Department of Corrections began to keep a close eye on him. At one point, the unkillable criminal was taken in for containment, and he's currently classified as SCP-2632. His actual name, though, is Douglas Manfred. Douglas was born in 1810 in the Republic of West Florida.
And this is the crap you got for me? The ship is worth...
You're just sitting around the house all day long without helping...
a territory that... and he's currently classified as SCP-2632. His actual name, though, is Douglas Manfred. Douglas was born in 1810 in the
that's
Republic
been
of
a
West
long
Florida,
time.
a territory
It's
that
almost
existed
like
back in that
200
day where
years.
modern Florida is now.
Yeah,
Up
I
until
think more,
1878,
not
he was a
more.
man like
I think
any other,
sometimes
possessing no
200
abnormal characteristics or
200 years.
abilities. Douglas and his wife Bethany moved to the small town of Crossroads, Wyoming, along with his younger brother Jacob in 1867, about 11 years before the turning point. At that time specifically, Bethany was not yet his wife, although she would be eventually. Back then, she was only 13 years old. As a child, she lost her entire family, and Douglas had picked her up and taken her under his care. A funeral business was started with Jacob Douglas. Business was running well, and they were seeing about one death every week. Still, Douglas eventually began to ponder the means by which one might find a way to end all death and destruction within the world. Just then, a Native American man showed up. One whom Douglas initially took for a madman. The Indian, as the old man called him, told of a certain ritual, the effects of which made one nearly immortal. The Native American then conducted the ritual with 4 companions.
So he become immortal, so he cannot die. Okay, he's like a band from 7 Deadly Sins.
There is one catch, however. Each ritual participant can still technically die, but only at the hands of another participant. The Native American had been so afraid of being attacked by his fellow ritualist participants that he eventually killed them all himself. Douglas decided that he would follow the Indian's example and perform the ritual with his 24-year-old wife and 36-year-old brother. Their bodies immediately stopped aging right at that moment. Douglas was now left with his relapsing, remitting multiple sclerosis, and his wife, now eternally young, clearly wished to be with someone more her age. His younger brother Jacob just so happened to fit the billet. A romance sparked between the two, which gave Douglas logical reason to now be concerned for his life, since its immortality was now growing doubtful. Albeit neither Jacob nor Bethany knew anything about how they and Douglas could harm one another. But the old man nevertheless decided to preempt them. He threw the bones of children left over from the ritual into his brother's house, and then alerted the local sheriff. The court found the bones as evidence of Jacob's involvement in the murder, and he was therefore sentenced to be hanged. Naturally, this would not have been sufficient. However, Douglas gave his brother some morphine to avoid arousing any suspicion among the people. It was assumed that Jacob would fall asleep. At that time, the old man had still been running the funeral business, so he was supposed to hold a funeral for show. However, the future SCP-2632
The
had no
meme,
plans on
the meme, bro, the meme. No, no, no. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my
doing
god.
this. Instead, he tossed his sleeping brother into the grave and covered it with dirt. Douglas left him alive underground. But the young wife was not about it whatsoever. Therefore, the old man next sent his objecting wife to the grave herself with a single blow to the back of her head with a shovel. After killing Bethany, the man went on his way to enjoy eternal life. 120 years later, however, the old man regretted not just ending his brother's life that day. Every so often, Douglas would visit the town where he'd become immortal. One day, he discovered that a shopping center had been constructed right on top of the old cemetery. This put the old man at ease initially, for he believed that the concrete and cement structures would work even better to seal his relative underground. But when the old man happened to meet Jacob in person, he realized that prior to building the shopping center, the old cemetery had been dug up, and his brother had been freed. This meeting came quite unexpectedly. Jacob attacked his older brother from behind. Somehow, the old man miraculously managed to get away. After that, he lived in fear for 2 years. Eventually, he decided that prison would be the safest place for him to stay. Thus, Douglas made his way to Mount Rainier National Park over to a spot called Paradise.
The
Here he came up to a
Jojo,
random
bro.
tourist.
The Jojo found a suitable victim finally. The Jojo, bro. The Jojo. Dio. Ho ho. Oh my god.
Jonathan
The meme Jojo again. Seriously, bro. I think this guy is watching anime, so that's why.
Douglas murdered the man and remained sitting near the body until some witnesses appeared who would call the police. Only SCP-2632 missed one key detail. The death penalty was being enforced in the state of Washington at that time. It was not done away with there until 2018. Douglas sat waiting for his execution until 2003, although for obvious reasons it was not going to happen. He offered no resistance to the Foundation agents, since he was unlikely to encounter his brother under these circumstances. However, the old man ended up being much more dangerous to the Foundation employees. In 2015, Douglas killed Dr. William Hoskins during an interview. Apparently, this was done due to the
What
doctor's
kind of
active
person is
attempts to
this?
find out
What about
became
the
of Native
ritual?
American, as well
Awesome.
as determine the details
Answer.
of the ritual performed. SCP-2632 has, however, killed people on more than one occasion after telling him his story. In order to avoid this, contact with the object should be limited. Following the death of Dr. Hoskins, Dr. Elizabeth Lane took over most of the work. From the first day, though, she encountered difficulties communicating with the object. Dr. Lane was also
He not
accompanied
a
by
object. Oh my god, the language. He a person. Even he is immortal, like a angel or satanic or an alien. But still, he's still a human. My god.
Bill Cassidy. Douglas reacted very strangely to him being there. The old man answered questions in an incoherent manner and would glance cautiously over at Cassidy. This eventually led to SCP-2632 becoming mentally unstable. I'll come back to that in a bit, but for now I want to quickly address the degree to which one can trust SCP-2632's stories. Since, after all, the entire life story of Douglas is known only from the man himself. Although examination of the burial site did reveal some contradictions, where Jacob and Bethany had been buried, there were indeed traces of the deceased one's escape, as well as the remains of the other one. The issue here, however, is that the uncovered corpse belonged to a man. The examination proved that this was, in fact, Jacob Manfred. Bethany's body was never found. So why did the old man lie? And also, where is Bethany right now? What could this have to do with Agent Bill Cassidy? I think it's rather obvious that Douglas hit his brother on the head with a shovel and not his wife. He then left her under the earth so that she could think carefully about how she had acted. But after 120 years, she managed to get out into the world, now with the desire to take revenge on her husband. Since Bethany has all eternity ahead of her, she chose to try anything, to include becoming a man. Back in the early 90s, she changed her sex and took on the new name of Bill Cassidy. And it was
What?
this man who had attacked Douglas. While the old man was in prison,
You mean he become a transgender now? That woman.
Bethany, or Bill, managed to become a Foundation agent. Given his invulnerability, Bill could have killed SCP-2632 right then and there, but he didn't. Why is that? What's your opinion on all this? Let us know
I
in the
don't know,
comments.
but I mean that's good. I mean interesting. I can say interesting. Even though become a immortality is not good, because you slowly watching someone death, your friend, your family, So do not be like that, as if you are like do not have any emotion. Maybe you can become a immortal, you know. So yeah. So I think that's all for today. So what do you guys thinking about this SCP? Tell me in comment down below, and do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification right now. And yep, that's all for today. And I forgot to say this. Tomorrow I have important to tell you guys. So yeah, make sure to watch it tomorrow. And yeah, that's all for today. Have a good day. Have a good night. Goodbye and stay home.